And moving on, I spoke with a best-selling author about his latest book and actually learned some very interesting tidbits about his background. Take a look. Well, joining us now is New York Times best-selling author James Rollins to tell us about the 12th novel in his Sigma Force franchise, The Seventh Plague. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Alex. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's so nice to have you on. You know, we're really excited about your book. And first I have to ask you, because you've written so many of these, how many times have you destroyed the world in your books?
I think I'm up to 33 times.
Wow.
So I'm trying to find very creative ways of doing it. So it's challenging.
It is challenging, but certainly you're achieving it. People keep coming back to your books. And so for someone who might not know what the Sigma Force series is, can you give us sort of a little brief synopsis?
Sure. Well, Sigma Force is a group of special forces soldiers that have been retrained in various scientific disciplines by DARPA, the Defense Department's sort of research and development wing. And they act as field agents for DARPA. They go out and protect us against various challenges. They're basically, for lack of better terms, they're scientists with guns. And they're a great team to play with. I like to be able to shine a light on different characters in different books. So it's a fun team to play with.
Scientists with guns, that sounds pretty cool, and they'd probably be pretty smart using their guns. So I have to ask you, if somebody hasn't read the previous books, can they sort of just jump in at any point, or is it sort of a specific order that you have to go in?
No, I think only a small fraction of my readers actually have read my books in order. Usually they just sort of stumble upon them wherever they happen to stumble upon them and then fill in the blanks from there. I sort of structure each story so that if you are coming for the first time, you can you jump right in without feeling like you're lost.
I like that. I like that ease of use. And so your latest book is The Seventh Plague. Can you tell us what that seventh plague is?
Well, as you might guess, it sort of ties all the way back to Moses' 10 plagues from the Old Testament. The story starts out when an archaeologist comes stumbling out of the desert after being missing for 2 years. Unfortunately, he dies before he can tell his story, but his body offers sort of tantalizing clues to what might have happened. Number one is, oddly enough, his body is partially mummified, as though somebody had put him through this gruesome process while he was still alive. And he's also harboring a plague organism that begins to spread through Cairo and beyond. And Sigma Force is called in to try to figure out where this guy came from, where this organism might have come from, and is there a possible cure. And so they're trying to stop this before this one plague begins a whole cascade of series of plagues, very similar to the plagues that Moses afflicted upon the Egyptians.
I love that. And you know, people really like the sort of dark themes, and they like the mystery, and also when there's a mummified corpse, I think that really draws people in. It makes them really interested. So do you yourself have a history background? Because you seem to know a lot about this stuff.
You know, actually, my background is veterinary medicine. My regular practice is veterinary medicine. I still do some volunteer work. I still do spaying and neutering at the local shelter. But I've always, wanted to be an archaeologist. So this is my chance to sort of, be an armchair archaeologist and explore history in the little corners. I've always been fascinated by that, and also different aspects of science. So it's fun to be able to look for that historical mystery, that piece of history that maybe ends in a question mark, and team it up with a bit of science that makes you go what if, and then build a big roller coaster around that.
That is
connecting
impressive.
The past to the present.
Certainly, and you can definitely see that your sort of infatuation with the sciences and with history is really sort of shining through in your book. So really quick, in the little time we have left, what's next for you?
Sure. Well, again, Sigma Force will be out again next year. There's a bit of a shocking ending to this novel that the repercussions will roll into the next book. It deals with Pearl Harbor, deals with World War II, a connection to the Civil War, and a bit of science that's going to make people raise their eyebrows a little bit.
Well, certainly we're all very interested to see what you do next, and we love your books. Congratulations on this latest one, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. James Rollins, everybody. Now stay right where you are. Morning Blend will be right back.